Good afternoon. How is everyone today? Oh boy, what a day it is here in Toronto, Canada, Ontario. More news that we didn't want. Oh boy, oh boy. It's Sorry, I realized better plug in the old ring light. It was really, really bright in here like all day because the sun was shining so bright. But now, of course, it's almost 3 o'clock, so the sun's gonna set. But yeah, it moved across the building, so now it's ring light time, I guess. So yeah, I got a little bit done yesterday here on Twitch, so I figured instead of sitting around watching the news and being upset about our new our new old meet the new boss, same as the old boss life, just I'm gonna come and work on a few pages and see where life takes us. Yeah, I think my new microphone's working well. I'm getting the hang of all of it, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't. You tell me. You tell me if the microphone's working. And yeah, so I plucked out a couple more pages to work on today from my Witch for Witches and a Dude is what it's called, the working title. What it's really going to be called, I do not know. I might just keep that title. Depends what the publisher, whoever decides to publish it, it's in their court what they want to call it. But yeah, so here we are. It's January 3rd. Oh my God. January 3rd. And yeah, so I'm doing some editing today. I'm waiting for a call from my dad from the hospital to talk to my mom, so I might have to pop off for a minute to do that. My mom broke her hip on the weekend and she's in the hospital, so my dad's going to visit her this afternoon and he says he's going to try and call from the cell phone from the hospital, but I do not have a clue what time that will be. And I meant to come on much earlier to do that, but of course I got sidetracked by watching the news and watching the news and then watching the news because I keep hoping for something good. But so for those that don't know, here in Ontario, Canada, Ontario, we just had a big announcement about 2 hours ago, maybe three, about our new life as we know it, which is the old life as we know it. So basically, we're heading into another lockdown starting Wednesday, and we've never really come out of a lockdown in like 3 years, 2 years. I don't even know where we are anymore. Um, so as of Wednesday, we have restaurants are, I think they're closed for indoor dining. Gyms and dance studios and stuff like that will be reduced to 25%. So some of the lockdowns aren't as bad as previous times, because previous times it's been like everything's slammed shut. Like there's no funerals, no weddings, no nothing. But now I believe they can have small ones. I don't know. I just know that here I am. And for me, like I am a freelance writer, and most of the jobs I do are online. But all my backup jobs to earn money were not. Like I worked as a waitress, I worked as a dog walker, I did patient acting at the college, which I haven't done in almost a year now. I do background work, but they use mostly union people, and I'm not in the union for background performing, so I got called twice last year, so I worked twice, um like 2 days. That doesn't pay the rent, so yeah, I gotta up my Twitch game, I guess, and hang out with you guys more, just to keep from going crazy being by myself. I watch a lot of Twitch channels. Especially Cousin Catnip, I watch a lot. He's on right now. And I watch shit ton of YouTube. Yes, and TV. I did see Don't Look Up and Queen Pin on the weekend, and I watched that as a double feature. I thought it was a lot of fun to watch them together, and yeah. So all right, I'm just gonna get to work. If anyone wants to talk about anything, let me know. But I don't think there's anyone here, anyways, right now, just yet. So we'll see what happens. So basically, I'm working on. I'm shrieking like a crazy woman. I'm sorry. I'm just excited and screwed up, and I gotta calm down. My mom's in the hospital. We're in a lockdown. I have no idea if I'm gonna have an income this month because my in-person jobs aren't coming back again. So I'm just like, wow. Just try focus, just focus 1 minute at a time, 1 minute at a time. So here in what's happening in the book now is today we're going to work on a section that's a bit after the section we worked on yesterday, which is about more than halfway through the book. And so basically, for those who don't know why my writing's so shitty, is what happened was last oh my god, can I even think? Last April. Last April, during NaNoWriMo, which for those that don't know, those who don't know, is National Novel Writing Month. And so that's sort of a challenge to write a novel in a month, and which some people do quite well, some people not so much. I'm not a novel a month person, though I have been known to write a novel or a draft of a novel in a month, but I'm not super prolific like that. I know there have been some years of my career where it looked like I was prolific, 'cause I'd have like 3 books coming out at once or whatever, but it was really more about, slow and steady wins the race, and sometimes things all come out at once, even though you spent 10 years trying to deal with them. Um, Sorry, I had a pop up on my, I don't know what that was. Um, so what am I talking about? I got distracted by the pop up. Anyways, so this part of the book is a few pages after the other day. And so Mary is a witch who is a private investigator, and she sees shadow people, and throughout the book, the main thrust of the book is her trying to solve a crime with the local police department. Sometimes the police department will call her if they get stuck, or if there are patterns to crimes, they will give her a call and see if her services would be good, because she's not an official detective or inspector like that. She's a witch. She has psychic abilities, limited psychic abilities, like most psychics. She sees ghosts. She sees shadow people. They're pulling together that the crime that opened the book. Maybe more nefarious than originally thought. It might be connected to some other things and so on. So what I was talking about. So I kind of blabbled this book into like voice to text in that 1 month of NaNoWriMo, and it's a disaster. It's a mess. This is just truly appalling. I can't believe I wrote these words. I didn't write these words. I blabbled them into a microphone, and these are the words that came out. So what I'm doing here on Twitch now is just going through stuff, showing you how to throw things out, showing you how to edit, how to decide what to keep, what to not keep, and how to go from a super rough draft to a rough draft. This particular book, I'm still just deciphering it from the talking into the microphone part of the process, and so now I'm just trying to clean it up a bit with punctuation and trying to figure out what I'm even trying to say, and then moving forward from that, I'll create a proper first draft and proceed from there. So by the time this book is finished, it'll probably be probably summertime, or I may work faster. I don't know. Working on Twitch is not fast because I keep talking and distracting myself. Yes. But that's what Twitch is all about. But I'm just trying, I'm pretty distraught at, these lockdowns that don't end, and You know, will I ever get to go dancing in a club again? Will I see a movie? I haven't seen a movie in 2 years. I haven't gone to a club. I've been to a restaurant 3 times. You know, it gets depressing. You know, some of my friends are sickly, so I don't want to see them and spread germs around. My parents are a couple hours away, so I can't see that. You know, it's blah blah blah. Anyways, let's just focus on what we can control, because that's what life's about. Dealing with what we can control, and I can control making this shitty book good. So that's what I'm controlling right now, is making a shitty book good. Oh, sorry, my thing's just blipping. I just have to pay attention to my phone. I turned the sound off, but my dad will be calling from the hospital, and then I'll just put on the standby sign, and then I'll come back. I'm not going to sign off because I know I won't talk long to them. Okay. So Mary, oh, so this is definitely a placeholder. Mary is called by the detective. Well, that's not even writing. That's, whoops, I have to get my mouse in the proper place. Okay. So with this part, that's just kind of a placeholder I put. So let's see. Mary gathers up her stuff, blah, blah, blah. She looks down at the cat. All right, so Mary's cell buzzed. It was, I can't even remember the damn detective's name. I have a sheet. I have notes in a book, but I didn't pull it out. It was Detective blah blah asking her to come to the office. I'll be right there. Mary said. So the point of this scene is we want to establish still that the shadow people are watching her every move. And she's a sketch artist, so she'll sketch her visions of the crime scenes. So that's what she's gathering up. I'm just going to put that paragraph because I have to erase that whole paragraph because it's kind of like just points of what will happen in the scene as opposed to actually writing what's happening in the scene. So Mary gathered up her sketch pad and notes and shoved them into her bag. She popped shove them into her bag. After she changed into a more business like shirt and skirt, she went into the bathroom to... She went into the bathroom. She drew on her eyeliner. She had this... Okay, she's putting on her eyeliner in the bathroom mirror, and the skin on the back of her neck stands The skin? What the fuck is that? The skin on the back of her neck? No. She drew on her eyeliner. The hair on the back of her neck. Prickled. She shuddered, not shuddered, and looked behind her. There was, we're in past tense, not present. There was no one there. Sorry, I just, I'm keeping an eye on my phone for my parents. See, even when you get to be my age, you're still waiting for your parents. Okay, Mary gathered up her sketch pad and notes and shoved them into her bag. After she changed into a more business-like shirt and skirt, she went into the bathroom. As she drew her eyeliner, the hair in the back of her neck prickled. She shuddered and looked behind her. There was no one there. Dun, dun, dun. Now, we've already established in earlier parts of the books that she's a witch and all that. So we don't have to do all that now because we already know she sees things and does things and there's creepy shit happening all the time. So we don't have to like go, I'll do all that. It's just a fact of life at this point in the book. I can't remember her cat's name. The cat lying at her feet was nonplussed. No, there was no one there. She looked out. I can't remember her cat's name either, but that's okay. We just power through. As I was mentioning before, and I'll continue to mention, because I know different people watch these videos at different times, and I am a teacher at George Brown College here in Toronto. So the idea with every scene is every motion, every movement, every bit of dialogue should move the story or the scene forward. So we've already established things and place holdings that have happened. And also, a way to procrastinate is like, oh, I don't remember the cat's name. Now I'm going to go back into the book and look. But no, I'm not. What you need to do when you're working on drafts is just keep plowing forward. You have a notebook. You can say, okay, I got to remember the cat's name on page whatever. But the cat's name is earlier in the book. I even have a book or like cards or whatever to write down character names and stuff. So I do have all that information. I just don't have it right here, right now. And it doesn't matter that I do or don't, because we're just going to plow on through. So she looked down at the cat who was settled at her. The cat wouldn't be sleeping because she just got there. Settled at her feet. He didn't seem to notice anything. And that kind of because this is a quirky book, so like, you didn't seem to see anything, but if he did, he's not telling. That's how that goes. He didn't seem to notice anything. Or if he did, he's not telling. So now we can get rid of this whole bunch of mess. So this is cleaned up a little bit, but so it's good enough to plow forward as we're creating the first draft. Okay, so Mary's cell phone. We don't have to say cell phone because we know it's a cell. And actually, I think it depends where you live. It could be 1L, could be 2. Mary's cell buzzed. It was Detective blah blah asking her to come to the office. I'll be right there, Mary said. Mary gathered up her sketch pad and notes and shoved them into her bag. After she changed in more businesslike shirt and skirt, she went into the bathroom. As she drew on her eyeliner, the hair on the back of her neck prickled. She shuddered and looked behind her. There was no one there. She looked down at the cat, who was settled at her feet. He didn't seem to notice anything, or if he did, he wasn't telling. So instead of saying, this is one of my pet peeves as an editor, and I am guilty of it myself, which is probably why it's a pet peeve of me as an editor. But this whole Mary felt or someone felt, we're already reading about this person, so we don't have to say they felt, because we know they felt by how we're going to describe it. So the place thing is she's feeling a light wind and she shivers like a breeze comes through the apartment or a ghost or whatever it is. So we don't have to say she felt. We'll just dive right into a light wind did what? Floated by, breezed by, flickered by. A light wind. So, there's never ever shame in looking up words, ever. There isn't. There's no shame. So we can go to, why aren't we getting the, I wanted to go to just synonyms or whatever, but sorry, I'm leaning too far off camera. So there's another example of how we can really get caught up in looking for that perfect word. But in the meantime, so that we don't get caught up looking for the perfect word, we just will, it's so weird how that's happening. Okay. Maybe if I do this. No, it just says translate and stuff. Why? Where's the, you think it's my first time using Word, huh? Okay. Oh my God, what's happening? There. The end. Okay, turn. No! I'm losing my mind! It's so hard to do this. It's like going to the bathroom when someone's watching. I'm really just, I find this really hard writing in front of people. It's really hard for me. I know I have no trouble babbling on about things and all that, but when it comes to actually writing in front of people, this is hard. Okay. So, I'm going to look up a better word. So that's why I highlighted it. Oh my God, I got another pop-up here. And we'll proceed because I don't want to get hung up. Oh man, now we got to think of a word. That's not why we're here. Whoops. Okay, I gotta. Okay, sorry. All right. A light wind blew, and she shivered again. So I'll when I'm in the groove, that sentence will probably become more descriptive and more interesting. But right now, that's the placeholder. Whoops, I gotta keep my mouse over on that. I have two monitors going. That's why I keep looking this way, because that's where the chat box and stuff is, if anyone wants to say anything. Yesterday we had some good interaction going on. Okay, I light wind blue, and she shivered again. She looked up at the ceiling. She thought she saw the flicker of a shadow creeping into the light fixture, but she wasn't sure. That's a weak sentence, but I'm not going to freak out about it. We got to get the show on the road. That's an inner thought, so we italicize this. See, now all this stuff comes up on this time. It's weird. But it didn't come up when I did blue. Why? Oh, no. Yeah, now it's coming up. A light wind gusted. A light wind gusted. Yes, because it's light. Somehow I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. A light wind wafted. It's too much wafting. I waft a lot in my work. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it because it's just procrastination at this point. Okay. Likely my stupid, overactive imagination, like always. No, I don't have to say like always, because her overactive imagination is what pays her bills. She's just excited to get back on the case. She put on some eyeshadow and finished her lips. Does she popped her 2 hours into a little makeup bag. She looked again in the mirror and again felt that. What the hell is that? Does she popped her 2 hours? 2 hours. 2 hours. What am I trying to say there? So don't forget, like when you're doing voice to text, it just decides what you're saying. It's not necessarily what you said, of course. So I'm trying to think of what I... She popped her lipstick into a little makeup bag. I don't know. I don't know what I was saying there. She looked again in the mirror and once more felt that sense of being watched. She turned around quickly, but nothing was there. She looked to the side and she looked up again. Now she thought she saw two little shadow figures stuck away. No. Now she thought she saw two little shadow figures out of the corner of her eye. Great, they're magnifying here to touch, just magnificent. They're magnifying here to touch. I wonder what else. Great. They're multiplying here too. Magnificent. And that's a sarcastic what the fuck kind of talk. That's like great. Great. Where's... No, that's not what I wanted. There it is. She turned around quickly, but nothing was there. She looked to the side. Whoops. And she looked up again. Now she thought she saw two little shadow figures out of the corner of her eye. Great. They're multiplying here too. Magnificent. Ugh. Now she's going to yell at them. Hey! Hey! You guys going to come out and show yourselves, or you just going to hide all the time? Question mark. Show me your guts and come on out. How about, instead of saying show me your guts, because when, this is what I say to students and people, I've edited over 1,000 books, a lot of them horror. But so you want to, I forget what I was going to say now. Okay, you guys, are you going to come out and show yourselves? Or are you just going to hide all the time? Show me some guts and come on out. But so my point is that when you say something like show me your guts, for normal people, I don't even think people say that anymore, so I'll have to change that expression as well. I have a lot of old fogey expressions because I'm an old fogey all of a sudden. I didn't know I was an old fogey, but I know what birthday I'm having in 3 weeks. I can't escape the idea any longer. So, but the idea, so in writing horror, so you say something like show me your guts, and if you're watching a movie like Beetlejuice, he'll just rip open his torso and his guts will fly out at you, right? So when you're writing horror, there's that fine line between comedy and horror, and then there's the fine line of being like taking things literally or not. And so when you're writing horror and fantasy, you really have to double check, things that we might consider offhand expressions in a regular world may have deeper meanings in a horror or fantasy world, like show me your guts. So yeah, you might take a knife and they'll all pop out, but that isn't what's happening. She's like, hey, stop hiding and scaring me. Show me your balls, get some balls and show yourself instead of just lurking around in the shadows is what she's. Oh, okay, I have to go. I'll be back in a minute. I will be back. All right, I have returned. I had to take that call. I'm sorry for disrupting you, but my mommy's in the hospital, and so I talked to my mom and my dad on the cell phone, on their cell phone from the hospital, and yep, my mother's improving, I guess. We're not sure. She fell on the weekend and broke her hip and had emergency hip replacement surgery. And so my dad's in there now visiting her. My mom does have Alzheimer's, so she's a bit confused about what's going on and what's happening and so on. So, it's an interesting time of life. I guess is the only thing to say about that. It's something. It's something. That's all I could say. It's something. So, sorry, I'm just, let's get back to it. Get back to it. Okay, so I gotta stop thinking hospital thoughts and get back to my witch having an issue with the shadow people. All right. Okay, so we have, oh my God, we're only on one page. Okay. So, Mary gathered up her sketch pad and notes and shoved them into her bag. After she changed into a more businesslike shirt and skirt, she went into the bathroom. As she drew in her eyeliner, the hair in the back of her neck prickled. She shuddered and looked behind her. There was no one there. She looked out at the cat who was settled at her feet. He didn't seem to notice anything, or if he did, he wasn't telling. A light wind blew, and she shivered again. She looked up at the ceiling. She thought she saw a flicker of a shadow creeping into the light fixture, but she wasn't sure. Likely my stupid, overactive imagination. She put on some eyeshadow and finished her lips. She popped her lipstick into a little makeup bag. She looked again in the mirror and once more felt that sense of being watched. She turned around quickly, but nothing was there. She looked to the side, and she looked up again. Now she thought she saw two little shadow figures out of the corner of her eye. Now, we don't. Another thing, we were talking earlier about she felt and how we don't always need to say she felt, especially if the whole chapter is about her. And there now, too, she thought is another one of those things where you might be able to rearrange the sentence or um, so you have she thought she saw two little shadow figures out of the corner of her eye. Great, they're multiplying here too. Magnificent. Hey, you guys gonna come out and show yourselves, or are you just gonna hide all the time? Show me your guts and come on out. She waited for a moment as if she expected them to show themselves, or perhaps even answer in a language she could understand. But, of course, no such thing happened. She turned off the light and stood for a moment, wondering. Now, okay, here's one of those, just a little learning lesson for some of you. See how it says, stood for a moment, wondering if she, see how that word is there? Now, what happened is I did a universal word search and replace, and I was changing someone's name to Aaron. But when I did the search replace, it also fucked up some other words. I'm trying to remember what word I was replacing. Wondering. I think the word was Ian or something like that. And so this is what happens when you do the universal search replace. You think you're just doing proper names, but sometimes if there are those letters in different words and we're not even thinking of it, it happens all the time to the best of us, you may run across this sort of situation where the word, the proper name got put into a word. So if you do a name replace or a word replace in your manuscript, you really need to go through and check every single word after you do that. So that's why it's good to change the words as they come up, because shit like this happens. And I don't even remember why it happened, but here we are. Okay, so we know the word is wondering, not Aaron. She turned off the light and stood for a moment, wondering if she would see shadows within the shadows should they emerge from the light. She gathered up the rest of her things from around the apartment and put her sketches into the carry bag. See, she already put her stuff into the bag. I'm going to say tools because we already have her gathering up stuff earlier. She gathered up the rest of her tools from around the apartment and added a couple more sketches because she already put sketches into the bag earlier, like a paragraph before. So another phone call. This one I'll call him back later. It's just a friend calling, probably to see how my mom is. Okay, so she gathered up the rest of her tools around the apartment and added a couple more sketches in the carry bag that she used to transport. So we don't want to say things. Now we use things kind of as a placeholder word, but really when you're reading a book, the reader is expecting you, the author, to tell them the things. You don't want to just rant, things. It's your job as the author to say what these things are. So we can use things as a placeholder when we're working on our book, because I can't think of all the things right now. I'm just pounding out a draft, right? But then as we get deeper into the story and more specific, you want to have be more specific, because that's why the reader's reading your book and someone else, not someone else's, because they want to hear about your things, your specific items. Or sorry, I'm jiggling the desk here, which is jiggling the microphone, it's jiggling the camera. Sorry, just flailing about. Anyway, so we don't want to say things, we just want to say something. I'm gonna correct this grammar up here while we're waiting. But of course, it depends how you want to say it. You can punctuate it a couple of different ways. See, I was saying as but, of course, no such thing happened. You could also say it, but of course, no such thing happened. So there's a few different ways you can say it. And so in this case, the commas are showing how you want to accent that sentence, right? Sometimes that's what grammar's for, and sometimes it's not. It's the fun with grammar. Okay, so let's go back down here. So she turned off the light and stood for a moment, wondering if she would see shadows within the shadows should they emerge from the light. So we have light 2 times in this sentence. That sucks. So she turned off. So turning, you want to be a little more descriptive. Have some fun with your descriptions. She snapped off the light and stood in darkness for a moment, wondering if she would see shadows within shadows should they emerge from the, instead of from the light, because they went into the fixture. So let's just say fixture. She gathered up the rest of her tools from around the apartment and added a couple more sketches into the carry bag that she used to transport. Hey, hi! Hi, Cousin Catnip. I don't have a raid dicky do. Welcome everybody. Thank you for the raid. I am doing editing 101 on my book here today. It's traumatizing for me to be doing this. But so basically what I did was I dictated my book, the word to text, and then now I'm trying to clean up the mess I made. So that's what's happening here today. And I just got off the phone with my parents from the hospital. So I'm just refocusing on trying to get this done. Yeah. So we're learning about editing. So I have shadow people hiding in the light fixture, and the witch is looking at them, and we're talking about things like here in this sentence where she's gathering up her stuff that she used to transport things to the detective. We're talking about how not to use a word like thing, but to actually be specific. But Cousin Catnip, how was your stream? I watched a bit of it. Then I got inspired to do my own. Yeah. Okay, so she gathered up the tools. Oh, right on. You got further into the DK game incentives. Fantastic. That's great. Yay. Yeah, I was in there when you were talking. I was only in for a minute. But you were talking about how you were playing an old game that had flashing lights, but now the new games don't. Something like that, how they stripped out the flashes from the original game. They try not to cause seizures. They used to, so they edited the code. Oh, okay. That's cool. Oh, yeah, like the old Pokemon cartoons and stuff. Yeah, I remember those days, sadly. Okay. Now I'm realizing as I'm looking at this, she was in the bathroom when she turned off her light. And now she's in the living room. So this is what happens when you do voice dictation. You lose what you're doing. At least for me, it's hard for me to do. Okay, so she snapped off the light. It's in the wondering to see that they emerge from the fixtures. Okay, she has to return. Mary returned to the living room. Where? See if she has to move from room to room. Gather a couple more sketches in the carry bag. She's transported findings to the detective. She kept looking up at the ceiling in the living room, but she didn't see indication of the shadow people. Going to lurk for a bit. Really hungry. Okay. Thank you for the raid, though. Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's still really sunny, but apparently it's like -10 or something out there. Something crazy. Yeah. All right, enjoy, and thank you for the raid, and enjoy your dinner, and have some fun. And I'll just keep fighting with my words here. I know I have no idea if people care about watching this. I think it's might be as exciting as watching paint dry. I'm not quite sure. Uh, Anyways, so Mary returns to the living room. She gathers up because she's got to get to see that detective. She's got to get. She made some sketches. She's got to get some stuff going on. But for those that the book isn't out obviously, and so we're about 150 pages into this book. So she does have all these encounters with shadow people that she may have dragged back from the murder site that she explored in the very first scene of the book. So now we're way into the book now, and they're still trying to figure out things. And so there's four witches, and she's the detective witch. And the shadow people are lurking around, and so that's kind of what's happening here for those that may have just jumped into like what's going on here. Okay, so now she keeps looking like, oh, it's there, what's there, so she's looking. Oh, and I gotta keep my mouse over here. The room, and then so of course, those people who, in reading these books and stuff, usually gets cold when there's a wind. So a little wind went through a couple paragraphs ago, but we do say the room feels normal temperature. In the living room, so she figures the shadow people must be in the bathroom because that's where the wind was a minute ago. So the room, but the room felt normal temperature. Like that's not even English. Like, come on, Sephra, what are you doing? It's just like Okay, so she kept looking up at the ceiling, living room, but she didn't see any indication of the shadow people. The temperature seemed back to normal as well. So she figured they're probably still hanging out in the bathroom. And then we don't want to weaken the sentence by saying little toss off things like for whatever reason. Like, we don't need that. Just get rid of that. That was my musing thoughts when I was dictating. So those that I've just joined, or people coming and going, or whatever, this is what I call a rough draft. So it's even beyond a rough draft because I was dictating into, the microphone that it speed out these words. So now I'm just trying to make a first draft from just punctuation and understanding. Some of these things are pretty hilarious. I don't even know what I was trying to say. But anyways, so temperature seemed back to normal as well. So let's get that comma in there. So she figured they were probably still hanging out in the bathroom. Just as she shut the door, whoo, she felt so again, there's our buddy, the she felt. Get rid of the she felt, because we already know she's feeling it because we're talking about it. Just as she shut the door, a cold wind, dust through the apartment. So now she's not dusting, she's gusting. This is a stronger wind. So earlier there was a light kind of wafting wind. Now it's like, wah, just as she's leaving. So those shadow people are pissed at her. Just as she shut the door, a cold wind gusted through the apartment and tickled her fingers. So we have too many doors. She's shutting the door. We don't need to lock the door too. We figure she's locking it when she leaves, like all of us. Or maybe it's an automatic locking door, whatever. So just to shut the door, cold wind gusted through the apartment and tickled her fingers. And then we're walking on the street. Mary walked along the street till she got to the corner bar. So we're missing some stuff here, but we'll just plow through. He would be the detective, whatever I called him. I can't remember anymore, but we're not going to get all caught up with that. We'll just put detective blah blah had agreed to come to her part of town since he was. So we don't say gonna at this point because now we're in the narration. So the narrator speaks proper English. Detective blah blah had agreed to come to her part of town since he was going to be out that way anyways on other matters. Oh wait, Oh, okay. Then I had a brain burp here and realized I don't want to do any of that. No, we're now we decided no, I decided that no, he wasn't she was not walking down the street. She's going to the police station. Mary entered the police station. She checked in at the desk. So this is all like that's garbage that I'll fix in the next draft, but let's just keep plowing forward for now. She showed her ID and answered the required questions, which might have been COVID questions. We don't know. The office, but this doesn't take place in a COVID universe. This is a non COVID universe, even though it's happening right now. The officer. Oh, okay. So since I kind of slur when I talk, it says the officer buzzed touring, but it's actually the officer buzzed her in. So basically, you're on one side of the desk and you have to show your ID and all that. Then, if you're like actually working at the police department, at least here in Canada, from what I understand, then you get buzzed in through the magic door and then you go in and have your meeting or whatever is happening. Which is on the other side of the locked door. Oh, who's calling me now? Okay, it's a 1888. Oh, it might be. Uh, I don't want it to be a answer the phone, then it's just a stupid call. I'm thinking it might be about my new phone. I don't know. Hello?
This call is from Visa Security Department. We had received two charges from your credit card early this morning. The first charge is a $400 through eBay, and the second charge is $1,300 through international gift card money transfer. We believe it's a suspicious and unauthorized charge. Because you have never used any gift card services in the past through your credit card. To allow these charges, press 1. To cancel these charges, press 2. To listen these messages again, press 0.
I think that's a scam call, but I'm not sure. That's a very bizarre. Um, just give me a second. I just double checking my bank account, but I think that was a scam. And of course, I can't remember my. No, it's bullshit. So this scam, in case you want, I should have held it up to the phone. So this scam said right away, I do not have a credit card, so that's why I wasn't too sure, but sometimes I use my debit card. So they said I had two purchases on this credit card, and then I was supposed to press one if I agreed to um, agreed to the purchases, and two if I did not. But all I did was hang up because I don't want them to do anything. And I just checked my bank account, which my debit card is directly linked to, and nothing's happening in there. So, scamorama. Because if it was my bank, they would say they were the fraud squad and we think there's unusual activity on your account, but they did not. Okay, so let's go back to the police station. Apropos. Mary entered the police station. She checked in at the desk. Actually, that's a new scam. I have never heard of that one. Okay. Mary entered the police station. She checked in at the desk. She showed her ID, answered the required question. Officer buzzed her in. The other side of the locked door. She turned left to. She turned left to went down the like. What the hell kind of talking is that? When she's on the other side, she turned left to. She turned left to go down the long hallway. Shredder's office. I'm having fun dictating this. Remember where his office was? Way down at the end. Basically, this is just gobbledygook. So this is the kind of shit you just take out. She doesn't care. She's been there 100 times. I didn't even understand that most of the detectives were down that way, far from the hustle bustle, love the daily coming goings. What? I think I was saying far from. Fuck all that. Done. Shouldn't left to go down the hallway. He stepped out from his office to greet her as she walked towards him. So we don't have to, we already know she's walking down the hall. We don't have to say it another 100 times. Just get rid of that. He went into Let's Smile office, had his desk, couple of chairs, and a small table. What the fuck is that? He shut the door. Mary sat on one of the chairs by the small table. She held her portfolio. Okay, so Officer Dicky Doo, or Detective, our detective buddy that I can't remember his name, Detective blah blah, Detective stepped out from his office to greet her as she walked towards him. He went into they shook hands and he led her in into the cramped room. Aren't all detectives cramped rooms because the police just give them a little crappy room? So we don't need all that other garbage. And she's been to this room before. I think she's even been to this room in this very book. But when I go back and do my revisions, I'll go back. Okay, they shook hands and he led her into the cramped room. She shut the door and Mary plunked herself down. While Mary sat on one of the chairs by the small table. She held her portfolio. She held the bag of all her crap is what she's holding. No, she's not holding it. She's not crazy. She's just gonna sit. We don't need all that other crap. Okay. There have been some interesting turns in the case. I thought I'd fill you in. Do you want to show me what you have first, or do you want to hear what I have to say first? Period. And of course, the period is supposed to be an actual period, not the word period, but we know how this program is, as we saw yesterday. So, as we know too, so is one of my words that I always have to erase because I say it every single sentence. He will start with, there have been some interesting turns in the case. And I thought I'd fill you in. And, you know, since they're detectives and this is a murder case, they want to talk in person, which is also more interesting if it ever becomes a TV show or anything. You just don't want endless phone calls, right? You got to go to places and do the things. Okay, there have been some interesting turns in the case, and I thought I'd fill you in. And there have been interesting turns in the case. Well, he doesn't have to say, I thought I'd fill you in, because that's what he's doing. So he doesn't have to say what he's doing. He's just doing it. But he's also aware that she's brought all her sketches and stuff too. So there was some interesting turns in the case. Did you want to show me what you have first, or do you want to hear what I have to say first? Yeah. Question mark. It's not even a period. You might as well start. She said, period. So he says, all right. So, this is dramatic. 3 dots. 3 dots is the correct way to do the ellipses. All right. So, they found more blonde hair at the site. They haven't been able to determine who it might belong to. The markings on the body are strange in a couple of places, seem rather claw-like, so we're trying to determine if maybe there was a dog, an animal, some kind of instrument, but we didn't see evidence of such things. He showed her a couple of pictures of some moons on the back. What? Oh, there's tattoos of moons on the back of the person who was murdered, but that doesn't make sense here. So, oh, sorry, I'm flipping my chair around. That's all the noise as I spin around at my horrific, what the hell is, now we have to make this look good. All right, so they're gonna fix this sentence. Okay, they found more blonde hair at the site. They haven't been able to determine who it might belong to. So and this, as I said, this is about 150 pages into the book. So we've had this discussion before about blonde hair and, is it animal, is it human, all this. We know it's werewolf, but they don't know it's werewolf yet. We, as the writer, knows it's a werewolf situation. Okay. The markings on the body are strange in a couple of places. Seemed rather claw-like. Like, who says that? No. Looks like claws of some sort. So we're trying to determine. We've already tried to determine. Now we're trying to figure out if maybe there was a dog. An animal. Some kind of tool. Like instrument. What the fuck is that? Yeah. Instrument. Maybe it'll determine who it might belong to. The markings on the body are strange in a couple of places. Looks like claws of some sort. So we're trying to figure out if maybe there is a dog, an animal, some kind of tool. But we didn't see... Obviously, they didn't see evidence of such things if they're trying to figure it out. So that's just a stupid sentence. Okay. Let's see what we got here now. All right. So they found more blonde hair at the site. They haven't been able to determine who it might belong to. The markings on the body are strange in a couple of places. Looks like claws of some sort. So we're trying to figure out if maybe there's a dog, an animal, some kind of tool. He showed her a couple of pictures of some moons on that. Just seems out of nowhere. What the... Yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, I'm gonna see what else I wrote before I decide what to do about that. Okay, because as we know, I'm just trying to get this into a first rough draft situation. I'm just trying to decipher what craziness I was dictating. So I'm not too worried about things being messier and all that at this point. Okay, yes. Okay, some kind of tool. Yes, okay. Get rid of that. Actually, this does, no, it seems to. It seems to tie in with what I want to show you. Is there anything else first? Now, what she means, is there anything else you want to show me before I show you? But, so is there anything else? Just leave it as that. They just determined a time of death and a couple of other things. All right, all that on this paper for you, so you have to put it. What the hell? They just determined a time of death and a couple of other things. Here are some notes for your files. That's all I was trying to say there, I'm pretty sure. Mary laid out some of the drawings, including the one of the ones with the werewolf face and claws. You looked at the claws. I mean, oh my God, what a mess. Mary laid out some of the drawings, including the one of the wolf face and claws. Detective blah de blah picked up the sketch of the claws. See how you can take 2 sentences and turn it into 5 words? Oh, who's here? Hello! Hello, King Donald Trump. He picked up a skateboard. Yep, then just off they went, solving that murder on a skateboard. Here you go. How are you doing today? We're just trying to clean up some gobbledygook, massive babbly writing here. It's frustrating, but I'm just showing a little bit on Twitch. Oh, good. I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. You're obviously not in Ontario, no, where we just got announced a new lockdown. Okay, now I'm just trying. I got a pop up all of a sudden, so I got to click it away. There, it was blocking my view there for a sec. Yeah, it was a beautiful sunny day here in Toronto, but it's like -10 out, so I didn't go outside. But I enjoyed looking out the window at the sun and sitting here working on my book. But yeah, so I'm just, what I'm doing here is I did a bunch of voice dictation and now I'm trying to decipher what I said. And it was about a year ago. And we're about 100 pages into the book. Although I'm only doing a few pages on Twitch because I know it, but I'm just kind of showing how editing works and stuff like that. I'm not creating high art here by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just trying to decipher gobbledygook. Okay, actually this seems to tie in with what I want to show you. Is there anything else? Let's determine a time of death and a couple of other things. Here are some notes for your files. Mary laid out some of the drawings, including the one of the wolf face and claws. Detective picked up the sketch of the claws. Okay, so now we need things like punctuation. May I? This book could use some skateboards, though. So maybe after they have their police interview, they'll go on a skateboard. They fly on a broomstick, so why not fly on a skateboard? You know, it's all good. You know, it's transportation. The murder weapon should be a skateboard. Dun dun dun. We'll find out in about 400 pages. Yeah. I think the murderer may have gotten away on a skateboard, but he didn't kill her with a skateboard because she was torn to shreds by a werewolf. But the werewolf could easily have gotten away on a skateboard, and that's something greatly to consider for sure. I could actually end the book with the werewolf shooting off into the moonlight on a skateboard. That would be really cool. It'd be hilarious. Prince Andrew. But Prince Andrew doesn't sweat. Oh, God. Yeah, don't get me started with those trials. And I'm in Canada. We don't care. I guess we care about Prince Andrew because he's royalty. For some reason, some Canadians care about royalty, but most of us don't. Okay, studied the sketch. Though was one of the ones that was very broad with few lines, the impression of the sketch. Well, I don't even know what the hell I'm saying there. Yeah. No, it wasn't Prince Andrew because there was sweat on that body, but had to be the guy on the skateboard. Yeah, that was bizarre hearing that on the news this morning. I don't know if they've mentioned that before in the trials, but yeah, this morning when they were talking about, oh, he couldn't be, that they, I don't know how much we can talk about these things on Twitch, but the accusers said he sweated, but he doesn't sweat, so therefore that wasn't him. Check the sweat, DNA, that sweat. Yeah, so it's the guy on the skateboard. Ew. 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 No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yuck. Yuck. Yeah, I write things, but I don't write that. I guess you could get the DNA that way, but yep. Oh boy. Okay, this sentence makes zero sense. He studied the sketch. He studied the sketch. So this is supposed to show that it's kind of like an impression. My book needs more DNA talk. Yep. Yeah, they do have some DNA later on, but that's not this paragraph. Right now they're just looking at the she has visions, so she's drawing stuff that she sees in visions, and then the detective's telling her the things. The sketch the sketch was covered in DNA in the non-Andrew sweat. It was DNA, but it was not Ghislaine's or Epstein's or Prince Andrew's sweat at all, ever. You're too funny. All right. So let's see. I'll definitely have to beef up this section when I do another pass, but for now I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit to have markers so when I come back and do a proper rewrite, I know what the hell I'm talking about because I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Let's see. I say you have animals. Are you saying it was attacked by some kind of wolf? Why is wolf capital? We don't know. Or dog. You don't need all this extra crap. You want to keep your writing really tight with the least amount of words possible. So here we are back to our buddy I feel, I felt, she felt, they felt. We never need feeling. It's like, no, it's not I feel. It's plain old, it's more complicated. It's not I feel like it's more complicated. It's like it's more complicated. It doesn't matter what you feel. It's a fact. It's more complicated than that. You've known me long enough and... Oh my god, here's another... I don't know what the fuck this is saying. Oh, let me see what you're saying. Detective studies DNA and touches it with strong attention to detail. Finger, then slowly, in a long drawn-out manner, brings his finger up to his lips to taste the sharp, salty flavor. You got it. You can now write skateboard sweat erotica combined with detective crime solving. You done it. You found your niche. You have your niche. Oh, it's a good one. That's very good. Oh, what's happening with my phone? Okay, well, at least it's not that weirdo again with the you are being robbed. That was a very I should call that number back and see who it is. Actually, I'm going to do that because it'll take 10 seconds. I should have done that at the time. No, I got this weird number calling me, but I just want to see what they say. Yep. See, it says it's not in service. No, I got a scam call. I love scam calls. I should have fucked with them, but I didn't want to press any buttons because I didn't know if it would activate anything. You know, sometimes they that's part of the scam, so you just want to hang up. Okay. Though if they call me again with that scam, I will definitely press 2 and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like I do with the other scammers, because it's a lot of fun. I like the border scam ones where they tell me I'm being arrested for having drugs in a box at the border. And I'm like, come on, bye, baby, bring the handcuffs. You know? They get mad at me. Now they just hang up on me. But it's like, you called me. I didn't call you. Like, why are you hanging up on me when you called me? Like, anyways, okay, back to work here. Back to work. I'm going to hang up soon, so let's get this done. Okay, it's more complicated than that. You know me long enough. And it's you and I have both together solved some very old cases. Let me tell you, it's going to be one of them. He said, so how the marks? What the Just get rid of all that blah-de-blah. Boom, done. It's more complicated than that. She nodded. Yes. The marks. Oh, this is going to be one of those round and round conversations. Yes, so you think this wolf, this animal, but were there any other clues around the house? I didn't even see evidence of a dog or a bowler, blood or stool, nothing from an animal that I can recall. What the fuck? more complicated than that. Yes, the marks. Do you think this... I wonder why they keep capitalizing wolf. This wolf. This animal. Actually, it would be this animal, this wolf. If we're being dramatic. But again, it's not a screenplay, so I may take this out. Why is it capital again? That's so weird. Okay. Do you... yes, Mark, do you know this animal, this wolf? Were there any other clues around the... Okay, I'm changing this a little more. I'm not quite sure. This might be repetitive information from earlier, so that's what happens when I'm doing this sort of thing. When I go through with the... I know I keep smacking. I'm sorry. It's a bad habit. When I go back and do the draft, I'll take out the repetition, but right now I'm not sure if this is total repetition or not. Okay, do you think this is an animal, wolf, but were there any other clues around the house? I didn't see evidence of a dog or a bowler. Like, what the hell? What? Or a bowler, blood, or stool. That was a dog or a... Oh, I think they mean like a dog bowl. Maybe, I think that's where they're going with that idea. Nothing from an animal that I can recall. All right. Now let's see if this sentence makes sense. Do you think this is an animal? Wolf? But were there any other clues around the house? I didn't even see evidence of a dog or a food bowl. Nothing from an animal that I can recall. You know more than anyone that recall... Oh, okay. This is a fact about when people are remembering things, how our memories work. And, I took private investigation courses and stuff. And there's these ideas that you can have 5 different people describe the same person. And the recall is so different. That's why it's hard to have, character sketches and things like that. Because our human brain can be a little faulty. But this is kind of where that's what this idea for this sentence is about. You know more than anyone that recall is not a friend most of the time. I think what we're dealing here is a werewolf. Again. Or some kind of shapeshifter. Oh God, shapeshifter. Didn't we go through this before? This isn't really a question because they both were on the case of the werewolves. But now we're giving exposition for the reader. But this information may have to be delivered in a different way because I'm not sure why they would talk to each other like this about a case they both worked on. So, but I'll just keep it in for now. It's over a year ago, and yeah, you're very correct about that. I've only just come... Holy shit. I start thinking about this theory and only revealed itself to me a day or so ago. I haven't had a lot of time to really think it over to decide exactly what I think these pictures are truly representing, but I believe in my bones and my impulse and looking at the pictures, and I'm sure you feel exactly the same, that this is the work of a werewolf. Holy crap, lady. That is not... Yeah, it was over a year ago. I've only recently... started thinking about this theory. I haven't had a lot of time to think about it. All right, let's see if this cleaned it up a little bit. It was over a year ago. Only recently started thinking about this theory. I've not had a lot of time to really think it over and decide exactly what these pictures are truly representing. But I do believe in my bones, and I'm sure you feel exactly the same, that this is the work of a werewolf. Well, that's still a sloppy sentence, but I just want to move on because I do have to hang up soon. Okay. Yes, the werewolf. Yes, the werewolf case. Yes, the werewolf. There's definitely the marks. I recognize. Okay, these are several sentences that are just a mess. Okay, yes, the werewolf case. There's definitely the marks. I recognize the slashes. I recognized them that day, in fact, but I didn't want to say anything out loud because even though everyone on the force knows about the werewolf story, and most of them were involved one way or another to vouch for its reality, it's like it never happened. If it's brought up, there are embarrassed chuckles. I don't understand why it's hard to recognize something that walks among us. That's a bit of a mess too, but we will continue on. Well, nobody wants to admit there are werewolves. Because then they'd have to be afraid of them or do something about them. Isn't that the bottom line for so much these days? If you admit you know about something, then you have to actually do something about it, right? And human nature is such that we don't like dealing with shit. We all just want to hide. Yeah. Confrontation. Well, some people love oh my God, can I talk? That's why I know I have to hang up soon. Confrontation. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm just losing my mind. Hang on. I just double checking. Nothing's crazy happening in my world here. Just I'm sorry I'm always distracted, but that's the life of being a sufferer. It's just not knowing what's going on. All right. Let's continue on. Yes, the werewolf definitely marks. I recognize slashes. I recognize them that day, in fact. Good, anyone say it's hard to recognize. Well, of course nobody wants to admit they're werewolves because they'd have to be afraid of them or do something about them. Uh, I feel like this is just major information dump. And so I'm going to have to revamp that, but I'm not too sure how I want to yet. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a highlight and proceed. Okay. Yes. So what would the connection be with this werewolf and that person? Okay, we're back to this particular. Oh, I gotta get my mouse back on the other screen. And okay. And another bad habit of mine is this yes business and so's. So we get rid of those because those are my. I forget the word for it now. There's a word, repetitive, crazy person. You know, writers always, any artist or art form, you get hooked on little bad habits, right? So my little writers get hooked on certain words. Like when I'm editing people's books, there's always like the little catchphrases these writers use over and over again. And for me, my things are like so, and he felt, and she thought, and things like that. And my little hooky, yucky things are the same as everyone else's. And so that's why doing more drafts is important, because then you take out all this stuff you don't need. Okay, what would the connection be with this werewolf? What would the connection be? What is the connection between this werewolf and this person? Do you think this person was trying to call a werewolf? Or maybe was involved with a werewolf? If this person was bitten, would they not become a werewolf as well? That's usually how it goes, but this person was Claude. And it wasn't Claude as in his name is Claude. He was Claude as in Claude. Claude, my name is Claude. From Hair. Manchester, England, England. Okay, that's usually how it goes. This person was Claude. I'm not sure being Claude makes you a werewolf. Are the rules... The rules are very... The werewolf rules are murky. Are very murky. It depends on who's writing the book, how the rules work for a werewolf. In my werewolf world, the rules are murky. But they will be revealed at the end. Okay, the rules are very murky, and there's no actual place to go and look them up. That's the worst part about dealing with some of these cryptids or supernatural creatures that we keep to see. We seem to... That we keep... Holy shit, can you talk? That's the worst part about dealing with some of these cryptids or supernatural creatures, that we keep running into. There, that's what you're trying to say. So another, yeah, to erase. We can always err and just. I'm a big just person too, so I got to snap out all those justs that I have. We can always err. Well, that's not even the right err. Err on the side of caution when it comes to all this. Then, what am I, British? We can always err on the side of caution when it comes to all of this, then. No, I'm Canadian. We don't talk like that. Oh, this is erotica, actually. But I can't show the erotic parts on Twitch. I'm only doing the non erotic writing parts on Twitch. It is an erotic book. So you never know. That licking the sweat off the skateboarder just may make it in there. I don't have an OnlyFans. I do not have an OnlyFans, no. I write books and you can buy the books. That's what the little scroll at the top is, or my books. That's my OnlyFans, is these books. How do I... Uh, Mistress of the Dark. That's a good one. All right. Okay, we can always err on the side of caution. Okay. I'm not sure if being Claude makes you werewolf. Da, 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 da. Oh my God. We can always err. Okay. Oh, that's right. I was being British. So we can always err on the side of caution when it comes to all of this. And there's another one of my famous sows. Sew a needle pulling thread. I should read erotica on OnlyFans. Yeah? Do they do that? I've never really considered myself an OnlyFans option. Though you're not the first to ask if I have one. Yeah. I thought OnlyFans was more for the, physical, beautiful people. And then there's people like me that just write erotica. But yeah, that's why, whoops. That's why it's hard to know what to share online, because I write horror and erotica, erotic horror really. And I don't want to show scenes that are really like descriptive and horrific and violent, because I don't want to get banned for that. And obviously I don't want to show the smutty stuff because I don't want to get banned for that. So that's why I'm experimenting with this, trying to write live online for you, or actually I'm just editing, dictaphone stuff, but I know the good stuff I can't really share with you. So it's kind of a drag, because I don't want to get banned, but or shut down or whatever. So you have to buy the books, I guess, and see the rest of what happens. People keep getting bummed by werewolves. Oh yeah, I've only written I think only one other book with a werewolf, and it's called which one is it? It's in my Witch Upon a Star series, which is erotica, and I think it's the Capricorn book. They're all different signs of the zodiac. So I think it's my Capricorn book that has a witch and a werewolf. Well, a vampire witch and a werewolf. This is just regular witches and werewolves. And it's not, this book isn't part of that series. This is a whole different thing on its own, even though it's familiar territory for me. But yeah, I'm just having, this book's supposed to be fun for me. Then I'm going to write a deeper, darker book again. But I've been mostly working on screenplays the last couple years, so it's kind of fun getting back into the narrative, not narrative structure, but novel writing, I guess, is what it is. I'm getting bummed. I'm bummed out that I'm a werewolf. No. Yes. All right, so we can always err on the side of caution when it comes to all this. What's our next step? I don't think I need to say all that. I think that's obvious. Oh, and now I'm making a slam at the Toronto Police Force because they dropped the ball with that friggin' investigation with the serial killer, McCarthy. Ugh. Our police force isn't the best at investigations, as it has been shown repeatedly over the years with the way serial killers keep slipping through our fingers. That's my little dig at the cops. I don't think we've ever. Well, we did, though, the inspector. What the hell? And it's not the inspector, it's a detective. Yes, I understood what you meant. I understood what you meant. Okay. The detective. Detective side. And threw his hands out. What, he doesn't need them anymore? He's throwing them in the garbage? That's. No. He didn't throw out anything, just his thoughts. I don't need another yes. We have too many yeses. We just need to put on our thinking. We need to put on our thinking caps. Because no one can help us. We need to, well, of course no one can help you. You're the police. Need to figure out this werewolf is connected to the other incidents. But most of all, what does this werewolf want? Yeah, because, you know, they had that whole werewolf thing happening a while back, and now they need to figure it out. Need to put on our thinking caps because no one can help us, blah, blah, blah. What does werewolf want? And why did he kill that particular person? I forget. I'm going to use their name. I can't remember their name right now. That's like the first page of the story. And this is like I said, we're a couple hundred pages in now. So what were they hiding? And why didn't they turn into... Why do they keep capitalizing wolf? That's so funny. Like, why... Wolf isn't like a proper word. Like, it's not someone's name. Or maybe they think it is someone's name. I don't know. Okay. Marianne. Oh, because the voice thinks I said Marianne Inspector when I was saying Mary and the Inspector. But it's not the inspector, it's a detective because I changed it. I don't even know if we have inspectors in Canada. That's a British thing. The Inspector of Scotland Yard came and checked out the werewolf pictures. Detective sat at the table, poring over the images. He was more open-minded. Oh my God. Fuck off. Why am I saying that? That's like writing 101. You don't tell the reader what to think. And I think we know he's open-minded because he's been using Mary's services for years, and they already solved a werewolf crime last year. We just realized. So it's just silly. So we erase that. That's editing 101. Okay, Mary and the detective sat at the table, poring over the images. Since he and Mary had worked together. Okay, we're doing things from Mary's point of view, so we should have Mary's name first. And I still can't remember his name that I gave him. Okay, since Mary and him had worked together so many times before, that might be okay. But even that's kind of telling, but We'll see when I go through another pass. Mary and the detective sat at the table, poring over the images. Since Mary and him had worked together so many times before, they had developed a way of getting along, even if they held completely opposite viewpoints. I'm not sure they're having completely opposite viewpoints, but they did earlier and they will later, so we'll just leave it for now. They seem to be getting along right now. There's no tension in this scene. I need to get them fighting, but right now I'm just trying to get my work into English, and then and then we'll worry about it making it good. Okay, we think the werewolf is blonde, but we're not positive. So are we looking? See, there's that so again. So a needle pulling thread. Are we looking for a wolf? Why is it capital or human? Or where would we begin a word to park the lake? Or where would we even begin to search? It really is a far reach, isn't it? We'll just have to wait and see what will happen next. No, we don't. You're the cops. You don't wait and see. You fucking do something. Do you want to go there? Maybe camp out? There, as in back to the scene of the crime. To the scene. Maybe camp out. Where punctuation is your friend. Oh, hi, dog poodle. Hi, dog poodle D. Oh, I'm sorry you have depression. That's sad. Sorry to hear that. I think here in Ontario, we're all running through another bout of depression because we just got informed there's another bunch of lockdown coming. So don't feel alone. And I'm not being flippant about that with depression. Yeah, it's a rough time for all of us. You're never happy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. I don't know how I can help you with that. I've struggled with depression myself my whole life, and what I found works for me, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point, is trying not to worry about what happened in the past, try not to get all super upset about what's happening in the future, and just try and focus on what's happening right in the moment now. And another thing that's helped me is just trying to deal with the things I can control and try not to worry too much about things that are beyond my control, although it's human nature, of course, to worry, and it's human nature to be sad and depressed too. A lot of us suffer from this. Your mom makes you sad, mad, nothing good. Yeah, I'm sure I make my kids upset too. And my mom's in the hospital. I just about an hour ago, while I was on this very stream, my mom over New Year's Eve day, she fell and broke her hip and had to have emergency surgery. And now she's in the hospital and she has Alzheimer's, so she doesn't really know what's going on. And that's depressing as hell too. Yeah. My first book? No, this is about my 25th book. I know it reads like a first book because what I'm doing is I've dictated about a year ago. Well, actually during NaNoWriMo in April, I dictated 65,000 words into the dictation app. And I've never written a book like that before. So now I'm really just deciphering what I'm trying to say to make a workable first draft, and then I will make it better. Actually, above me, those are books I've written. Some of them, not all of them. I write mostly horror And I'm mostly a horror writer, so we're dealing with werewolves and witches in this book. So what's happening right now in this scene is there's a witch who is also a crime. She draws. She's a psychic investigator, so she'll go to a crime scene. She sees and feels things, and she draws the pictures, and then she's working with a detective. So there's this case where there's been this mysterious murder that's really weird, and they're talking about how the body had like scratches, and they think it's a werewolf, and it might be connected to a werewolf case that had happened about a year before. But this is not a fantastical land. This is real life Toronto, and but werewolves, so people kind of talk gingerly about werewolves because it's like, are they real or are they not? But there was all this stuff that went down a year ago that involved werewolves, so we kind of know they're real. And so just drawing like that. Am I famous? Well, if you have to ask, then I guess I'm not, right? That's how you know. That's how you know. Ah, get a paper cut. Yeah. Yeah, but we're doing no erotica live on the stream because, oh, A Penny Saved, super erotica, but you have to be over 18 to read it. Captured Souls, also super erotica, got to be over 18 to read it. Flesh Failure, even though it has kind of an erotic name, not erotica. So there, we just, you don't read adult books. Okay. But yeah, so what I work on live on the stream, and it's something I've been just starting to experiment with in the recent week, is I'm just picking out parts that won't get me banned. So no explicit horror and no explicit erotica, just the stuff in between. But yeah, so you don't have to worry about seeing things you shouldn't on this stream because I'm really doing this more as a teaching tool of how to edit shitty writing because I know this writing's super shitty, even though it's my writing. And I'm the first to admit this is not the creme de resistance of beautiful writing. It will be by the time the book comes out. You will see the difference for sure. But right now, I'm just deciphering gobbledygook. I'm just looking. In case you wonder why I have my monitor in front of me, and then I have my TV is a monitor as well, and it's way across the room. And so I have the chat box on the giant TV because I'm working on my, you know how it is on Twitch. It got all the screens, so I keep looking over there, which looks like I'm looking away, because I'm reading the chat, and it's on my big TV. I haven't figured out yet how to make my chat, on my little window here and still see everything I need to see. Unless I guess I could do that. Maybe I could do that. That might work. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I think I'll put it back where it was. Well, now I can't do anything. What did I do? Okay. How much do authors make? Depends how much you write. Oh, I lost my chat. Oh, hang on. Oh my God, I gotta stop. Hang on. All right. So I know I'm flippant with the thing, how much do authors make? So it depends. It really, really depends on what you're doing, what genre you're writing in, if you're self-publishing, if you're traditionally publishing. Do you write books? Do you write short stories? Do you write screenplays? It's varied, but I'll tell you one thing, most writers have day jobs or part-time. For me, I have a bunch of little part-time jobs. Um, what do you mean? What do I mean? There's no set amount a writer makes because there's so many ways to be published, right? There's no, I wish there was a set formula that, you write a book, you make 10 grand, or, I wish there was that, but there isn't. Some publishing I've had advances of $10,000, and I've had advances of $5,000, and I've had no advances. But really, most writers need to have a day job. And then there's all these strategies of writing, and also, how prolific are you? If you write many books a year and you write good books, you might make a decent living. Depending on if you're self-publishing, traditionally publishing, hybrid publishing, there's many ways to get your books out. Traditional publishing is when a publishing house like Random House or someone like that, Penguin Books or whatever, they buy your book and then they publish it and it goes to Chapters and Coles and all that. Self-publishing is when you do all the work yourself. You throw your book on Amazon and hope for the best. And some people get stupid rich with that. Some people don't make a dime. I'm an in-between person. I started off traditionally publishing with leisure books, got advances and stuff, but now the landscape's changed a lot over the years. Now I even have a couple of books on a phone app called Scream, and you get paid for downloads, things like that. But so it really varies. Writers can make zero a year. Writers can make millions a year. I'm not a million person, but most of us are, we do okay, but we need other jobs. But it really, really comes down to how prolific you are, how much of an output you have, where you publish, and how many people buy your book. So every time you steal a book or pirate a book, the author makes nothing. So there's that to consider, right? So it's always good to buy a book from an author, whether it's clicking a read on Amazon or reading pages for tokens on an app or buying a book at the bookstore. The author gets a cut of all that stuff. And then you help a writer to succeed. I don't know if that really answers your question, but there's not a simple answer to that question. I'm not being coy. There really is not a simple answer to that question. I'm asked that a lot on panels, and there's no set author income level from 0 to 1 million. Actually, I'm just going to grab a pop from the fridge. I'll be right back. There we go. All right. Oh, I'm showing a label. Are we allowed to on Twitch? I don't know. Canada Dry. Oh, does it look? Yeah, it looks bizarre in the green screen. Okay, so we plow on for a little while longer here. If you have any more questions about being a writer, just feel free to ask them. I just don't, I don't have all the answers, but I can answer about what I personally know about, life in the day. That I'm hoping that by coming on Twitch and talking about things that helps people who might be considering being writers, what to expect, how it all works, how to write, how to edit, how to make your work presentable. So you have questions about how to get published or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. I'm a wealth of information that people may or may not care about. But I know, let's talk about these werewolves now. Okay, all right. So I decided I wasn't going to worry about that sentence. Okay, Mary and the detective sat at the table, poring over the images. It's married and worked together. Mary they develop way of getting along, even if that. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. Okay, the werewolf's blonde. Do you want to go back to the scene? Camp out. We're not allowed. It's illegal. You know the protocol. We had our chance. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that's even true. So I'm just gonna highlight that because I'm gonna come back and figure out if I even want that part. Now what's happening? Okay, we have. Okay, I'll do one more little page. So I have to tell you, it's taken me like 9 times longer to do this on Twitch than to do it in real life, but I'm enjoying talking to all of you. So it's a good exercise for me too. So, okay, so Mary's still hanging out. So suddenly I'm writing in present tense, which is not good. It should all be past tense. So Mary, we're still hanging out with Mary, the psychic detective. Mary stood on the steps of the haunted house. Is it the haunted house? I mean the murder house. The house where the body was found. I think that's what I mean. But I am not sure. Let no one around. She puts her hand. What the hell? What? Okay. I know what I'm trying to say here, but it's not saying it. It's not saying it whatsoever. Why is my phone beeping? Okay. What? Oh. Speaking of writing, I'm I'm doing a panel on Gothic fiction for the Horror Writers Association, and they're just sent out the notice of they want to pre-record a panel in case we can't all make it to Denver, Colorado in May, and so they're just picking a time for us all to meet and record the panel, which will be about Gothic, and I'll probably talk about this book on there. If I can ever get it into professional publishing shape, but that won't be today or even this year. Okay. Let no one around. Okay, so looking around, she saw that no. Ah, can't have around. And she saw. We already know she saw. Okay, let's just keep it simple. It's always best to keep things simple when you're doing these things. No one was around. Ta-da! See how simple it can be. She put her hand up to the door. With her other hand, she used her finger to spin. She's doing this. But I'm not sure how to describe it. So she has one hand on the door, and her other hand is doing this. That's not spinning. She's waggling her finger, maybe. I'm not sure how to describe that. She put one hand on the door. With her other hand, she used her finger to create a circle while she whispered a few magic words. The door opened. Dun dun dun. She entered and then shut it quietly behind her. She crumbles for the light. She crumbles for the light. Yeah, God, I love the voice. The voice dictation errors are always hilarious. She fumbles for the light switch and clicks it. Oh, we got another cat. The cat jumping up startles her. And startled her. Stop switching. Oh my God. See, I'm switching tenses. This is part of what we have to pay attention to. This needs to all be third person past tense. So let's clean this up a little more. No one was around. She put one hand on the door. With her other hand, she used her finger to create a circle while she whispered a few magic words. The door opened. She entered and then shut it quietly behind her. She fumbled for the light switch and clicked it. The cat, jumping up, startled her, and she cried. Ah. And so she's having a inner thought, so this will be italics. And I have to fix it. Oh my God. Startled over a cat. Like, how ridiculous. She already knew that the house would be empty that night. Yeah, 'cause that doesn't really match up with what they were talking about earlier, so I need to clean up the logistics of a lot of this. Okay, she already knew the house would be empty that night. The police had finally left, and the other boarders had decided not to stay, but instead found solace at friends' houses for a few days. She went to the parlor inside in one of the chairs. What? She went into the parlor and sat in one of the chairs. She shut her eyes. Because this is what psychic investigators do. She shut her eyes, trying to imagine the last few hours of the life that was now lost. She caught snatches of conversation, flurries of angry words, The sensation of being hunted, of being watched. Dun, dun, dun. Then there was another feeling, another sensation. That was was a vengeance, ridding her wrong. It was like, what the hecky heck? Okay. She went in the parlor and sat in one of the chairs. She shut her eyes, trying to imagine the last few hours of the life that was now lost. She got snatches of conversation, flurries of angry words, the sensation of being hunted, of being watched. Then there was another feeling, another sensation. Keep it simple. Vengeance. Ridding her wrong. What the hell was I trying to say there? Rightinger. Right. Right anger. Righting a wrong? I think that might be what I was saying. Writing wrong? Because when she's talking about balance, that's why I think I was saying something about righting a wrong. It was like some kind of balance was coming into play. Whatever led up to the murder, the murderer felt that the scales of justice would be restored once the offending party was removed. So I know what I'm trying to say here. The psychic is picking up that the person was murdered because the person murdering them, much like Dexter, I guess, is righting a wrong or balancing the scale of something, because the person who was murdered may have dabbled in something that they shouldn't have, perhaps. I think is where I was going with that idea. Which is what it turns out to be, because I know how the book ends. But you want to keep, this is that fine line of explaining things to the reader, but dropping little kernels of clues. But if you just say from the first page, oh yeah, there's a body, there's a werewolf, he killed the person because he's righting a wrong and he's opening a portal and they're all coming in, and she was the gatekeeper or whatever, keeping them out, or you say all that the first page. There's no book, right? So strategically leaving little clues of the mystery, but figuring out how much for your characters to understand or not. At what points are they trying to understand what's happening? Mystery writing, crime writing, horror, it's all connected. It's all the same kind of suspense building. But you don't want your reader so confused or in the dark that they don't want to turn. They're like, what the hell's this? But they also don't want the character to arrive at the conclusion too fast, because then there's no book. But you also don't want your reader to arrive at the conclusion way before the character, because then it's, we've all been to those movies where the first, or even watching Squid Game, in the first hour what's going to happen. But it's all the tension and build up for the next 9 hours of the movie that you're because you get invested in the characters and seeing what they're doing, and even if you think the ending, you may or may not, but and as they find out the pieces, and then we find out with them, and then coming to the conclusions, right? So that's kind of what's happening here, up to decide how much to reveal, but keep the reader invested, but not blow the whole answer before. Because this is the first time where she's kind of doing maybe it was a vengeance killing, maybe there's someone's righting a wrong, or it's a balance, or this is the first time she's kind of coming to this idea. Whatever led to the murderer, whatever led up to the murder. Had the murderer to the murderer. Whatever incident had led to the murder maybe meant the murderer felt that the scales of justice would be restored once the offending party was. I'll just leave that for now. I know that's a clumsy, stupid sentence too, but we'll just keep going. But what did it all mean? She stood up and decided to go up the stairs to the room where the murder had actually occurred. See, then, you get to a point where, so here we're in Canada. What are the rules? Can you go into the murder house? Can you look at the murder site? Where are the cops? So I went through all this while I was writing this rough draft, but I'll have to go back when I do my subsequent drafts and make sure I'm still following realistic protocol for police investigations. Oh my God. Okay, she stood up and decided to go up the stairs to the room where the murder had actually occurred. Every step she took down the hallway turned her blood cold. The air... A cool breeze blew through the stale air of the house. That's the shadow people. We talked about shadow people earlier that are kind of hanging out. She walked slowly and carefully down the hall. I don't know why that's capital. The door at the end was shut. There was police tape all across it. She put her hand up to it. As she did so... So here's my nemesis, the she-felts. Get rid of it. As she did so, she was pushed over by a violent thrust. She was pushed. Okay, so she's not pushed over, she's just pushed. She stood strong, but the force kept... We'll use a different word than push, but I'm not going to spend time looking for it now, unless one of you have one. The force is pushing you. It pushed and pushed and pushed. So, and then she had a painful period. No. So yeah, all this needs some zipping up, but we'll just keep going. Okay. She was being punched. So the little breeze is now a wild wind shrieking. Shriek and whirled and screamed around her. Screw that. I don't know what I was trying to say there. She put her hands over her ears. They hurt so much from the sound. She ran back down the hallway. The wind followed her. See, I still need more words for pushing, but we'll just keep going for now. The wind followed her, pushing her out the door. She tried to stop in the parlor to catch her breath, but the wind continued to push her until she was right back out onto the porch. So I'll have to find a different way to describe that in subsequent drafts. It's this whole demonic force, or the invisible werewolf, or whoever it is, pushing her out the door. They don't want her. She's really close to figuring out what happened. So they're like, nope. The ghosts are like, no, we don't want you to solve the mystery just yet. You're out of here. Goodbye. Now she's being punched. Wild wind shrieking. She put her hands over her ears, heard so much from the sound. She ran back down the hallway. The wind followed her, pushing. She tried to stop in the parlor. Wind continued to push her till she was right back out the porch. The door slammed behind her. Yellow police tape flood. Yeah, and then I have the Aaron. Do not do mass search and changes. See, I had a character and I changed his name to Aaron, but when I did the mass change, it screwed up because he was Aaron as in ERIN or whatever. Because you see now Aaron is everywhere, even in words that I didn't want him to be in. The door slammed behind her. And I don't know why sometimes it writes out period instead of just making one. Yellow police tape fluttered back into place where it had been before she disturbed it. She's staring at the door. So basically what's happened is she went in and she got pushed out. She's staring at the door, catching her breath when it slowly creaked open again. This time there was someone standing there. She had to blink for a few minutes as she blinked. She's not blinking, she's blinking. She blinked before she realized the person was real. But meanwhile, we thought the house was empty, right? Do you want something? The person asked, opening the door. I say, open the door a little more. I was just trying to get some information. You lying person? Just trying to get some information. In the middle of the night. Is it the middle of the night? Did we set up it's the middle of the night? Okay. Get to setting night. So I made that note so when I come back, I'll know. I have to make sure it's nighttime when she goes back. Yes, I have to fix all that. Okay, do you want something? The person asked as they opened the door. Just trying to get some information. Middle of the night like this seems rather late. The person stepped out onto the patio, then took a cigarette from his cigarette pack. Okay, it's a woman. Then took a cigarette from her cigarette pack. She was older, had scraggly white hair and a frail body, years of chain smoking, had deepened the lines in her face, but her eyes Her eyes looked at Mary with inquisitiveness. That's like a really bad sentence, and I will fix it. Do line, well, let's just... Oh, new line. Just curious about the person who died. Poor Agatha. I use the name Agatha a lot as a placeholder. But I'll probably change that. By the time this book comes out, all these names will be different because I change my names all the time. Did you know her? Not very well, but we did have some interesting talks. Are you a cop? No, I'm a fucking witch. Funny, because I saw you with the cops the other day. Oh, yes, I was working with them. All these pop-ups keep getting in the way of my life. Okay. Woo! Scared me. Thank you. Now, does the spinning cat ever go away, or it just stays there forever now? Hello. Well, now he's just gonna stay there spinning forever, I guess. I think it's funny too where he is. So I guess that's... So the emotes just stay forever. I just put him up today. I just changed it today, so I wasn't sure what it would do. Hello, welcome to the crazy house. Oh boy. Yeah, well, so what? It just sits there forever now? I thought they just pop up and then they leave, but I guess he doesn't. Oh. Come when I come, it's a welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm just writing some stuff here. We're trying to. All right. Chain smoking. Do people still chain smoke? I hear it's going to be banned completely in, was it Australia or someplace? Like, it's just banned. Longest laughter. Oh, well, then you don't know me very well. I laugh a lot at the stupidest shit. I'm one of those. Especially when I've been in lockdown for 2 years. It doesn't take much to amuse me anymore. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How many beers? Yeah. I haven't had any. Not yet today. Not yet. It'll come. Yeah, I'm even worse when I'm drinking. I'm a happy horror writer. Yeah. Maybe it's just laughter of insanity. I'm not sure. It's losing my mind. Yep, so I'm just trying to finish some last few paragraphs here. I've been doing some editing here today. And if anyone has questions about writing or editing or horror or anything else, I'm here to babble. Oh, were you? It's kind of like what's happening now. So you were on another writing stream watching writing, or you were doing writing, or oh, crime. Yeah, yeah, crime. Horror, crime and horror. Yeah. Yeah. It's all interconnected. I watch a lot of crime shows. Yeah. Oh, she studied it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, in university. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I go to a lot of the crime talks on, on Clubhouse on the phone. I listen to, there's a true crime woman on there, and she'll talk about it. She's on a couple times a week, and she'll talk about like whatever court cases are happening, like the Ghislaine one, or what's her face, Elizabeth Holmes, and then I always watch American Greed, so that can be anything from murders to embezzlement, and yeah, I love all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so here we've got a psychic detective trying to find a werewolf, and I can't believe that cat is still spinning his eyes. I guess it will never stop ever. I don't know. Okay, so, oh, I got my mouse on the wrong. I got two monitors. I have to remember which monitor the mouse needs to be really on, even though it's looks like it's not. Okay. Oh, sorry, psychic. So what happened here is that I dictated my book, and I did the verbal dictation, so now I'm trying to figure out what I said. And so I'm just making a rough first draft, and then ultimately I'll go on to do more drafts and make it good. But right now I'm just trying to deciphering what the heck was I saying that day. Viewer chatter. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's been a few people talking in and out today. Um, yeah, but I am always happy to chat. That's why I'm here. Yeah, the cat's like, I'm so excited. Someone's talking to us. Okay. Not into fiction except movies sometimes. Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I'm into it all. Um, I watch a lot of serial killers and cults. Just like when they made that skit on Saturday Night Live, I laughed so hard. It's like, yeah, I was into all that stuff before the pandemic happened, but now the rest of the world's into it too. So I don't feel so unusual anymore. Now we all know about cults and serial killers. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That's for sure. Lots of real stuff. I actually have a book. It's on the scrolly thing up there called Flesh Failure, which is about, it takes place in 1888. And so that was a lot of fun to research because I use elements of Jack the Ripper, the Elephant Man, all the lectures at the science universities and stuff. It takes place about 50 years after Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and so a lot of people actually were, she wrote that book because people were trying to figure out how to reanimate the dead, and of course nowadays we're close to it. I think there's always a bit of reality in all fiction. Yeah, yeah, lots of wolf attack. Well, I'm in Canada, so we know about wolves here. Heck, half people I know have wolf dogs. But yeah, werewolves. So we got the werewolves going on here. Because I like my fantasy and horror. Yeah. Okay, so the cops that day they came to take her away. Oh yes, I was working with them. Okay, so that's another page of French. French, le français werewolf. Le were chien. Okay. Yes, I was working with them. Yeah, a lot of French stuff happening here, but I'm not. Although I was born in New Orleans, so maybe the French Quarter. Ah. No, I don't have French accent. I'm live in Toronto. There is no French in me at all. My last name is Spanish. I'm from Spanish descent, but I don't speak Spanish either. Yeah, not all of us have the French accents here. That'd be more in Quebecois, Quebec, or Montreal. Go to Montreal, everyone's French. Not everyone. I have a couple friends there that aren't French at all and still don't speak French. Yeah, I just have that European thing happening because I am. Yeah, yeah. And I have the Spanish side coming out. Yeah. Can't believe that cat's still spinning its eyes. Why are you still spinning? He's funny though. La Chatte. All right, so I'm gonna let's see, what do we got here? So yeah, so this is a psychic detective, but she doesn't have to tell this total stranger that she's one. She say I was working with them. I'm a I was working with them. She's not gonna say she's a psychic detective because then she'll sound like a crazy person. I get information from images and feelings. And then it says new life, but that's supposed to be new line. But the microphone gods didn't want to listen to what I was trying to say. You try to stay with the lone streamers. Oh, okay. Image quality is medium to 700, so your megabytes are lost fast. Okay. I'm kind of, I mean, I've been on Twitch for years, but I haven't really thought about the technological aspects of it. But I'm getting more serious about twitching in the new year. But I have a new computer and I suddenly have new internet, so I probably will be adjusting my settings as I play with how I want things to look. So it's good that you give me that feedback. So it takes more computing power. Okay. Okay. I see. I'm looking over there. Over, yeah, like I can't see my hands either. But I have two monitor. I have the monitor here. Then I have my big screen TV across the room, which is where the chat is showing up. So I'm reading what you're saying about the bandwidth and all that jazz. Okay, it's good to know. I appreciate the feedback because you don't know unless you tell me, right? Yeah, because I streamed through from OBS and I set it up like years ago. So I don't even remember what I did anymore. I've come to realize that this is gonna have to be a job. Writing has always been my job. Streaming has not been a job. It's been more fun, but I'm trying to combine it now. Writing has always been my job. I have, the little spinning thing is books that I've written, some of them. And I do consider myself a full time writer, even though I have lots of jobs to pay the rent. Because, there are ways to pay the rent as a writer, but sometimes, I'm one of these people where I like to get life experience. So I do interesting jobs so I can learn more about different things so I can have things to write about. Because if you're just writing about writing, then who's going to read your stuff because you have nothing to say? It's just stuff from. So I try to somewhat to buy it. Yeah, my books have been in stores and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so I just am trying out, I do all kinds of things on Twitch. I do tarot readings, I do gaming, all you see on my profile. So the last few days I've been testing out the writing live thing because it seems like a lot of people have a lot of questions about being a writer, or I'm a professional editor too. That's one of my day jobs is editing other people's books to pay the rent so I can write my books. Yeah. So I do have a lot of skills as an editor, and so that's kind of why I'm doing this online. It's a very messy first draft, and then showing people how to pick out parts that might be usable or not, and the just how the process. Some people find that interesting, some don't. I have no idea if it's an appropriate Twitch thing, but I see a lot of people. When I first started on Twitch, not many people were writing live, but now a lot of people are writing live. So I thought I'd try it. So if you have any questions about any of it, let me know. I'm just experimenting at this point. Experimenting on Twitch, I should say, not experimenting writing. You write news? Oh, you write under news comments. Hey, I do a lot of that too. Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube and comment on those too. Yeah, I was playing around on YouTube a lot for many years, but I'm kind of changing direction once the pandemic hit. This one's playing with ice on the wings. AC planes, yeah. I'm glad I didn't go anywhere this holiday season. It sounded like a real disaster with um why not let exhaust go into wings? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of mess with the airports between the pandemic and people being sick and the weather, crazy weather in Canada and the States. My brother lives in Calgary. It's been minus 30 for like 2 weeks. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, the de-icing of the wings. Yeah. But we're having bizarre cold too. It's I don't even know if you can de-ice what's happening. Here in Toronto, it's -7, but it's kind of one of the first cold days this year, so we can't complain too loudly. But come back in a week and we'll be bitching and moaning too. Yeah, you're writing about it under your video. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I guess if your wings are icy, yeah, like flying in this weather. I know it's I don't fly. I'm not a pilot and I'm not a plane owner, so but sometimes I wonder, especially the smaller private planes, like why would you go now? Like it's -50, it's a snowstorm, it's a this, it's a that. Yeah. Didn't check the news forecast. Yeah, and it's like shouldn't that be piloting 101? Check the weather. Like we have so many devices. I mean, I have it on my computer, I have it on my phone, I have it on TV. Why wouldn't you look? Why wouldn't you look? It seems bizarre when you hear these things, huh? And I guess sometimes common sense goes out the window when we're in a hurry or our minds get preoccupied with so much other stuff. Then the normal, simple tasks are like, boop, I screwed that up. He didn't use his parachute. Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't see that one because I've been sitting here on Twitch, I guess. I'm usually up on the crazy accidents. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've seen the plane parachute thing happening. Yeah, it slows them down. Yeah, yeah. And I don't mean just in movies. I mean, I've seen news. Yeah, I'm still wondering what happened to that flight MH370, but yeah. I'll never believe that wasn't some kind of something conspiracy. Um, I don't know what the conspiracy was, but that's quite the mystery, I think. That's some It's one of the things I puzzle about that particular plane. Yeah, was either in the ocean or but we'll never know what happened. Like, did the pilot commit suicide? Was it hijacked? Or did some of the people get hijacked somewhere, then they crashed the plane? Did it, it's just a interesting story. But like most things, it probably just has a simple, tragic explanation of bullshit. So they go to this. I'm like, let's see. I guess it depends on someone's definition. At any rate, I'm just trying to see what more I can find out. Why Agatha died, or even how she lived. And really is another one of those words for me I use too much. I don't know much about her. Exhaust is hot, can heat the wings from the inside if it's not full of tanks. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. Any rate, so sometimes when you're doing rough drafts, you want to Get more of your punctuation in, because otherwise you end up having to punctuate everything at the end and it's a total drag. Or your editor has to punctuate it and they'll hate you forever. Okay, I guess at any rate, I'm just trying to see what more I can find out why Agatha died, or even how she lived. She was an interesting person. She came here once a month, the longest time. So why is this woman suddenly talking to this woman? Exposition of woman loosening up. So making myself a little note that I have to show why she's suddenly trusting her and talking to her. She was an interesting person, all right. Da, 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 da. At first, I stayed here for cheap. I'd like to go around the city like a tourist. People do that all the time, you know. They'll come to Toronto for a weekend, or maybe they want to see the art gallery, and they're working on a project, so they rent out a room for a week or a month or whatever. But Agatha, she was on a different kind of mission. It was Agatha all along. Oh, bye. Thank you so much for coming by, Long Tour. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you. Have a fantastic night. Now look for your comments on those on that airplane crash. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming by. See, well, she had it in her head. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. I need to go too. Well, okay. Well is another one of my words of don't deal with it. Shut in her head, and excuse me if you see this ring in my voice. The one time we sat down a few days, and she really. What? She had it in her head. Okay. One time we sat and had a few drinks together, and she reminded me the true purpose of her visits. The true purpose? Yes, the true purpose. Sorry, I was just double checking that I'm not getting any news that I don't want to see. That's all. That's all I'm doing. Nothing crazy. All right. I'm going to work a tiny bit more. Just personal, right? Da, 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 da. People do that all the time. They'll come to Toronto for a week. Maybe they want to see the art gallery, working on projects, so they rent out a room for a week or a month or whatever. But Agatha, she was on a different kind of mission. She was screwing up Wanda. No. Now I got that song in my head. It was Agatha all along. Do-do, do, do-do. And then the monsters do 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 boom bum 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 bum. Yeah, that's my 2-hour break. The let's do the wave so we don't get blood clots sitting here all day. All right. One time we sat and had a few drinks together, and she revealed to me, like, who the hell says that? She told me. She told me, especially this is like a chain smoking room and house lady. She told me the true purpose of her visits. What will they be? True purpose? Yes, the true purpose. It sounds way out there. Have you shared anything with the police? And this, oh hell no, should be. Dun 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 dun. Oh, hell no. That's how that one goes. That's how that one goes. Whoops, I'm on the wrong. Oh, hell no. I think there needs to be some kind of action. And then the chain smoking lady will say, since you're already kind of oogie, I'll tell you what she told me. I may change that oogie word. Doesn't mean I'll believe any of it, but I'll tell you just the same. Agatha believed that somewhere in Toronto there's some kind of portal that attracts werewolves. Dun dun dun. Don't forget, we're 200 pages into the book. The woman stopped and stared at Mary. Yeah, they capitalize wolf, but they don't capitalize Mary, eh? The woman stopped and stared at Mary, expecting her to laugh. Stopped and stared at Mary. No, we don't have to tell the reader that we know why she's staring. We don't have to feed it to the reader. That's what we call feeding it to the reader. A portal for werewolves. And like, why would spell check spell werewolves like that? That's ridiculous. I can't say I've ever heard of that one before. But in fact, Mary's lying because she has. Me neither. Mary's just getting the scooperoo. Why werewolves? Why do you spell it like that, spell check? I asked her the same. Sims? I have to fix all this formatting too, don't forget. Seems she had a reason, but she never told me what it was. Don't know if she was a werewolf. Hunter. Oh, okay. I don't know if she was a werewolf hunter, or if she thought she was a werewolf, or maybe a relative was a werewolf. She never... Okay, this woman is not going to say the word divulged. She never told... She never told me. Keep it simple, stupid. There we go. Nice and easy. Easy squeezy. Yet, she told you about the werewolf portal. Something's not adding up. Yeah, weird, eh? And where was the portal? This is the important part. It's not here. I know this house is something, and there's some kind of something going on in this house because I've lived here over 20 years, but it is not a werewolf portal. We know it's a this particular haunted house. It's full of shadow people and stuff, but which we established 100 pages ago. And so in dialogue, you would probably write out the word 20, not have it as a number, because this is dialogue. I'm sorry. I feel like laughing every time we say werewolf portal. Okay, that's... I don't know. I may take this bit out. I'm not even sure who's supposed to say it, to be honest. So, where would this werewolf... I think I already asked where the portal is. But I will, that's just part of the next draft round. Shouldn't tell me I managed to figure out that I think it's around Bloor and Young. Yeah, they don't capitalize the street names, but then they capitalize north. Maybe north of there, perhaps. Like, not New York, but North York. Like North York fell? What? I don't know what I meant to say there. Like North York or Rosedale. Around that area? Why do you think that? Well, I'm no detective. But just the way I should talk about... Oh my god, okay, there's another big long bunch of blah 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 I'm gonna have to fix. This is the way I should go talk about where we should go for walks, you know, visit the graveyards. It should always end up around Yorkville at some restaurants. Oh, that's gonna take a lot of deciphering. I have to be careful because some of this is important. I have to remember. I'll worry about it in a next draft. Interesting. Did she think rich people are werewolves? We already know they are. I think that's a stupid thing to say too, but we'll see. Like I said, she didn't really talk that much about it. She did, but she didn't. Like she knew I knew that she was dealing with werewolves, and I didn't laugh at her. But she certainly didn't give me big heart-to-hearts or anything. Okay, so a lot of this will have to be like... There's a lot of repetition going on here, and I'm not in the mood to like decipher, but when I come around for another pass, that's, yeah. Have you ever seen a werewolf? Would I know? I mean, if it hadn't changed... I guess you wouldn't. I've seen a couple of werewolves that were in wolf form in my life. But you're right. I don't know if I would ever recognize one. Nope, you wouldn't. The woman laughed and stomped out her butt and went inside. Werewolves again. What the hell was that about? How come they're giving her? Why are they spelling Mary like that? Like, Mary's like the most common name in the universe. So why would you spell it with two R's? Jeez. Mary went behind the house and grabbed a broomstick. She hopped on and flew over to Bay and Bloor. She walked along the street, looking at the tall high rises, enjoying the windows place, fancy rich stores. Okay, now, are we in the middle of the night or what? Like, continuity. Hello, continuity. Because at some point we said it's middle of the night. Now we're saying it's dinner time. We don't know what we're doing here. So I have to fix that continuity. It's probably maybe around 11 or 12. Been in the patter's full of people laughing. The sound of silverware clinking and glasses clanking, clinking, clanking, clattering, calypso. Now and again. What? Now and again should enjoy away father's decor, some other barbecue walking over. What the? Okay. We don't know what any of that's about. Checked over the various options. Any one of them was just good as other. Drink would be $15 more. They all offered a great view of the street below. Decided on karaoke. Oh my god. Okay, I'm calling it here. I think I think I can't deal with much more of what's happening here. Okay, I'm just checking, make sure no one's frantically messaging me. My phone buzzed, so I just wanted to make sure I'm not ignoring something from my dad, because my mom's in the hospital and all that great stuff. Um, hmm. Time out. Yeah, no, it's got different stuff. Okay. Well, this is your last chance for questions. If there's anybody there, I'm probably nobody's there anyways, but if you have a question, please ask. Oh, I better not show the Loki Gator because I'll get dinged by Disney probably, right? Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. So, thank you for coming by for my little writing session, which turned out to be quite a long one actually. I think it's the longest I've ever been on Twitch. Well, I think I have been on longer in some of the old days when I'd read tarot, but I really appreciate everybody who came by, asked questions, gave suggestions, helped me edit, and so on. Oh, I covered up the chat, so I can't see if anyone has a last minute question for me or anything like that. Last call for alcohol. No, last call for werewolf stories and then witches and werewolves. Oh my. Oh, I better not have Loki peeking out at us. There. Yeah, so that was fun. I think I'm gonna try and do this a lot. Um, it is. I still feel really naked exposing my shittily written first drafts to the world, but this is how we learn and grow. So I'm hoping some of you are learning things from how to edit or how to decipher what's important and what's not in a story. Um, and we all learn by watching other people too. Like when you're watching me going, why the hell? Who wants to read that? And then you know how to make your own work better because you don't want to be like me. Things like that. But today we noticed things like bad habits writers get, like when writers get hooked on a word. I used to call it word of the day because some days every sentence starts with that same word or you use that same phrase over and over again. So that's why I tell people just write a first draft. Don't worry about all those hooks and repetitive bad habits and things and cliches and stuff. Just throw it all into your first draft. Because every time you stop and think about something, you'll just end up in a procrastination station nightmare. So just go through. So that's what I've been doing. I spoke this draft into a microphone, so a lot of it isn't clear at all. So right now I'm just trying to punctuate it, but I'm still being really rough. There's a lot of places I have to, really make better, make flowerier, more descriptions, and then other places I need to eliminate even more. But when it comes to writing, less is more, less is better. Try not to use cliches. Try to get rid of words like he felt, he said, she thought, things like that. You don't need them because if you're following the story, you don't need to tell the reader that they felt something, because you should be able to tell they felt something by how they're acting. So that's kind of what today's lesson was, maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to be helpful and useful. But yeah, so I see no questions coming in. So I will how do I sign off? Sign off. I will sign off. I have so many things spinning and going here. I can't find the button to disconnect. All right. So have a wonderful day, everyone. And like I said, I'm going to come on more often. I might even try and come on every day while we're in a cold snap. And here in Toronto, we're back in a lockdown, so there's nowhere to go but the internet. So we're all doing our thing. All right. So take care, everyone. Have a fabulous night. Stay warm. Bye-bye.